Are you there, Jen?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can now, and I can see you. You sound great, and you look even better. So
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you. I can't see myself, so.
Well, you know what? You just trust me on this one, okay? You look great. I know it's always good to kind of see yourself in the side there, but seriously, thank you. You've sent some notes of what you're going to be covering on this call, and again, coaches. This is gold. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a few questions to Jen, and then I'm going to get out of the way because she has presented this content before, and it's taken her a little bit longer than we've given on this call. So it's, in other words, Jeff, be quiet and get out of the way. But first, Jen, how did you become a coach?
So in 2013, I was kind of floundering a little bit. I had both my children. My second son was 3.5 months old. I had that 45 pounds of baby weight that didn't fall off. I was kind of in that mode of being chronically tired and just fatigued all the time and just really not feeling comfortable in my skin. And like many people, I had done the going to the gym, starting the gym membership. I had tried, other programs, and I always quit. I probably lasted for like a week. And my coach, Stephanie Chico, she had reached out to me on Instagram. And she was like, I run these challenge groups. Like, would you be interested in doing something like that? And I'm like, what the heck? This sounds pretty amazing. I have tried other things. I really think this could be the thing that works for me, And when she told me that there was a chocolate shake that I could put peanut butter in every morning, and that was part of my meal plan, I was kind of like, yes, I'm going to do this. But I didn't intend for it to be a business. When I signed up, I really wanted to focus on me. But I had no idea that within three years, I would make this into a 7-figure business. So huge blessing.
Self here. So that's absolutely I think a lot of coaches can relate to that. I think where the most excitement on this is when you start to say, okay, man, who can put peanut butter in a chocolate shake, right? That's always a great way to go. No, but in all seriousness, I think a lot of people can relate to grappling with, with having had kids and confidence and trying to lose baby weight and trying to find themselves in something. And so you're kind of a lot of people in a lot of ways. But I think the difference is that you've done some things that you've grabbed and disciplined yourself around in order to create some great results. So quickly, you had the start, and then there's the point where you put enough time in, you put enough effort, skill, learning. You talked a little bit about, earnings, which of course, income disclaimers, we always do. It is a result of effort, skill, time in the saddle, contribution. And I like the income disclaimer because it means it's not for everybody, because not everyone's willing to do the things that you're willing to do. It does take effort. But when did it start to take off for you, Jen?
I really think that it was the end of 2013. I had been watching a lot of other coaches that had started the same time as I had, and they were doing amazing things with their business. And I was watching them sharing, what financially had changed for them and just how their team had grown. And I was kind of like, why am I not doing this? Like, why am I not, trying to have my own success story here? And at the end of the day, and I think a lot of people can probably resonate with this, is I was scared. I was scared of failing. I was scared of what other people would say about me. I was scared that I had gotten a degree and now I wasn't going to use it. So there was all of this like negative self-talk that I was having with myself. And as the type A person that I am, what I need to do is write a pros and cons list and basically say to myself, what are the pros of me going all in, really doing this? And then what are the cons? And let me tell you, there were very few cons and there were lots of pros. And so I kind of just said, let's do this. I had like 15 coaches at the beginning of 2014. And I was like, you guys, do you want to rally? Like, do you want to do this? And they were like, yeah, let's do this. Let's grow this team. Let's really go all in. And we worked hard, and by the end of, I think 2014, I was a 5-star diamond coach, and I think we had 1,000 people on my team. So, and I will say it was all Instagram that I did all my recruiting on. So I'm really excited to get to talk about that today. I really didn't do much on Facebook. It was really all Instagram, how I grew my team. So.
Well, so let's jump into that then, because I think that, like you said, you grew it on Instagram. Before you get there, I want to just point out the fact that the business started to take off, newer coaches. She had a small team. They made a decision. They said, let's go for this. Again, every point of the way, you've got to be intentional about this business to be successful. And then if Jen's going to jump in here now, and I'm going to get out of the way so she can do her 5 points. There is an intentionalness that has to take place in order to be successful all the way along. And so Jenn, I'm going to toss it over to you to talk about Instagram, the 5 points, and take it away.
Okay. So I want to start with saying why I decided to use Instagram instead of Facebook when I wanted to grow my business was probably first and foremost that fear that I was telling you guys about. For me, my Facebook was entirely people I knew in real life. I had a very small Facebook page. It was, high school friends, college friends, friends and family. And there was a lot of vulnerability in putting yourself out there. So if you guys feel that way, I totally get it. And I was there. For me, Instagram was kind of a place where I could be me and I could share kind of freely without fear of judgment. So that was one of the first reasons why I kind of really sought that platform. The second reason was, like I said, it was all my warm market on Facebook, and I had a really difficult time figuring out how to branch outside of my warm market. And for some of you guys, maybe relate to that. I had no warm market that was interested. They were like, cool, you're doing that Beachbody thing. That's awesome. But I don't really want to buy anything. So at that point, I could have said, I'm a failure and I'm going to quit. Or I could say, I need to find something else that's going to make my business grow. And I was like, Instagram is going to be that thing. It was just so easy for me to network with a cold market there and to grow a cold market. So I'm going to give you guys 5 steps, like Jeff said, and kind of what I did and what I still do today. Honestly, I still use the same method today, 5 years later. So the first step is defining your target market. So this is so important. This is so crucial. It's the biggest step. It sounds so basic, but if you don't know who you're going after, you are literally just going to be putting posts up on social media and they're not going to stick, because the person that you're trying to attract, they aren't going to see it because you aren't honing in on really who you are looking to, bring to your page and attract back to you. So what I like to do is make interest lists. And some of you guys have done this probably. It's always good to revamp it. But who are you outside of being a Beachbody coach? And I think that's the biggest mistake coaches make sometimes is they become a coach and they're like, well, now I need to share all things Shakeology, all things, my Beachbody workouts. And that's probably the first mistake, because you are so much more than that. And that's where people are usually going to connect with you. First and foremost are the other things, because, like me, I take myself as an example. I wasn't necessarily ready or interested in eating clean and working out when I met my coach Steph. It was all the other things about her, that she was a mom of little ones, that she was, a wife, and she was a Christian. And these were things that I resonated with her. And then when she approached me about Beachbody, I already liked her. So I was so much more likely to say yes, because I had already developed that relationship. So knowing who you're trying to attract is so important, that target market. The next step is, after you've figured out that who you're trying to attract, like who are you besides Beachbody? Are you a hiker? Are you a surfer? Like, do you do crafting and DIY? What do you do? Now you're going to create an interest list of hashtags. So that's step number 2, is an interest list of hashtags. I can't share it right now, but after the call's over, I'm going to share with you guys a website that I use to generate my hashtag lists. So I have a couple different hashtag lists that I use. For me, I'm a mom. I live in Florida. That's like a big part of my niche market, and I do a lot of yoga. So those are my interest lists, and I use this website. I plug in those topics, and it'll be different for all of you guys. But I plug in those topics, and it basically spits out this list of popular hashtags for those interests. Like, you can't get more basic than that. It's pretty easy. And I have about, I would say like 15 or 20 hashtags for each interest that I use. And I use those for a couple different purposes. One of them is to engage with other people. How do I find them? You know what I mean? Like, how are you how are you trying to network with these people and locate them in the first place? And I go through these hashtags to do that. And how do I use these hashtags to grow my following? Because at the end of the day, guys, what do we want? We want to have more people seeing our posts, because that's how you're going to make the connection, right? So what I do is I follow 100 people a day. And that number sounds big, and I know it sounds a little daunting, but if you space it out throughout the day, it's really not that bad. But again, these numbers are my numbers. You need to look at them from your lifestyle and what works for you and what you have time for. But I do 100 a day. I do, my method that I use is called follow, unfollow method. So I follow 100 people a day with my interest list hashtags. I switch it up by the day. So maybe on Monday, I'm going to use my yoga hashtag list. And then on Tuesday, maybe I'm going to use my more boy mom hashtag list. And I'm just going to switch it up. And I do this Monday through Friday. I do this follow Monday through Friday. On Saturday, I do nothing, take a little break. And then on Sunday, I use this app, and I have an iPhone. The app I use is called Cleaner for Instagram. I will link that for you guys too when I finish. But really any followers app works. And I know there's some questioning, can I use third-party apps for unfollow and follow? You can. You just need to make sure that you're not unfollowing people too rapidly. Instagram is very sensitive about you looking like you're a bot. Instagram's no good. Any third-party bot that's trying to simulate who you are, you don't want to use that. So rule of thumb, 50 at a time in an hour. You don't want to follow or unfollow more than that. But on Sundays is when I do all my unfollows. And I do that so that I keep my number of people I'm following down. But on the same hand, do you really want to be following people that aren't following you back? And my answer is no. The people that are following you back, you know, those are the people that you want to spend your time engaging with and working with. So on Sundays is when I do my unfollows. And then every couple of months, I will go back into that same Cleaner for Instagram app, and I will unfollow inactive followers. And basically those are people that never engage on my posts and they never comment or anything like that. And again, that's just to keep your following number down, because you always want to have more followers than you do people that you are following. So that's what I do with that. Now back to the hashtags. So I also use the hashtags not just to find people for the follow, unfollow, but it's also to engage with people. So you guys have to understand that it's so much more than just finding people to follow you on Instagram and hoping they see your posts, because the Instagram algorithm is always changing. So if you're not interacting with these people, it's not very likely that they're going to interact back with you. So my number for that is 50 people a day that I interact with. Now you might be wondering, what do I say? What do I do? Engaging comments, like really think about what kind of comment you would want to get on one of your pictures. When I get like an emoji on one of my like a comment that's an emoji, or like a awesome or cool, I'm always like, okay. You know, we want something like captivating. We want something that really makes you say, wow, they read my caption. So make sure that you're reading these people's captions. Maybe ask them a question when you're looking at their post. So you want to make sure that you're really, you're engaging with them in a real way, and not just, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're getting through your 50 for the day. So really engaging comments makes the world of difference. And if someone decides to follow you back and to continue engaging with you. So the engagement kind of leads into my step 4, which is messaging. And I know that is like the biggest frog for so many people. It's a little scary, but I think this is why it's scary for some people, because you're thinking of it from a cold perspective. You are thinking that you need to send out that message like, hey girl, you want to join my challenge group? Like, it's starting on Tuesday. I'm like, no, you guys don't need to send those kinds of messages. You don't. In fact, none of the messages that I send to people actually have anything to do with Beachbody at first. Remember, this is your target market. These are the people that share the same interests as you. So everything that they're posting about, you're going to be interested in, and they're going to be interested because you're sharing that same story on your Instagram. All those things that you're interested in, guys, that you wrote that interest list about, that's the story you're telling on your Instagram. So they're gonna want to follow you, and you're gonna want to follow them. So the things that you're engaging about don't need to be Beachbody related necessarily. Let me give you an example. So there was this girl that I follow. She was on one of my dream team kind of lists, and she had posted about her daughter that needed to get glasses. And my 6-year-old son, about 6 months ago, he needed to get glasses. And so I just shot her like a direct message. I was like, hey, I saw your post about your daughter needing to get glasses. Here's like a couple of tips that helped my son transition. And she was super thankful. And we kind of just went back and forth about that. And then the relationship kept growing and we built off a commonality. But then I invited her to a free group that I was hosting. She accepted. And now she's one of my challengers in my 80-day obsession challenge group. So it takes time to get there. But if you start the relationship from a place of genuine interest and friendship and not looking at these people as a potential customer or a potential coach, but looking at them as a potential friend, I guarantee you guys, messaging will feel so much less daunting and you will have such a better response with people, how they reciprocate with you and how they speak with you and how they interact and how they engage. So that's my step 4. And let's move into my step 5. Using new Instagram features. So when I started, Instagram was like bare bones. You posted a picture. They had like 5 filters that you could use. And that was kind of it. There wasn't really much to it. Now we have all of these really cool features that Instagram offers. One of them is Instagram stories. And if you had caught a training I did a couple years ago, I would have told you to post 3 or 4 times a day, maybe morning, afternoon, evening kind of thing. Now I would tell you guys post once a day. That's totally fine, once a day, but stay active on your Instagram stories throughout the entire day. Share you, be real. People are just, people are inherently nosy. That's just us as humans. We want to see people's like inside lives. Like we want to see it all. So share that, share what your day-to-day life looks like. Yesterday I did an Instagram video when I had a towel on my head and I'm sitting in my bed doing an unboxing of something that I purchased. So but people love that because it's real. So be real, like be you, share you on Instagram stories. My number for that, rule of thumb, I would say probably 10 stories minimum a day, which is so easy when you space it out. And I do most of my Beachbody stuff in my stories. I will show my followers how I make my shake. I have walked them through Beachbody on demand. I've shown them, I use the yoga studio. That's what I use. And I've shown them the different workouts. You can really get a little bit more in depth with Instagram stories than you can on your, Facebook or Instagram feed, which I kind of love. Another feature that Instagram rolled out is the polling feature. You can ask people questions. People love to engage with you. So you can do that. You can use hashtags in your Instagram stories. You can use a Geo Tagging feature, which is where you say like where you are. And that helps you connect with people in your vicinity. If you want to, I know some people feel a little uncomfortable sharing where they're at. I usually stick to it if I'm in a bigger location. The town I live in is kind of small. Don't usually do it there, but if I'm in Orlando or Tampa, I'll share, that geotagging feature. And then people in the vicinity can see your post, which is pretty cool. Another feature that Instagram stories has like an addition to is called story highlights. So as you guys know, or maybe you don't, Instagram stories only stay up for 24 hours. So the highlights allow you to pull your best of your best stories. They stay on the front of your profile and they stay up forever. So I have walked people through Beachbody on demand, like I was saying, or how I make my Shakeology, and I keep those on my story highlights. And I do some other stuff like I'm a shopaholic, so online shopping, things I've purchased, coach life, recognition posts, those kind of things, all in my highlights. So even if someone missed it in my story when I first posted it, they can see it in my profile and they can, get another glimpse. But Instagram loves you using the things that they roll out, and they're constantly rolling out new things. So just make sure you work on those things, try them out, feel them out, see if you can use them. But I think I've rolled through all my 5 steps, and hopefully I didn't go over time.
No, you did. So you're great on time. As you're going through these, Jen, I'm going, man, we could stop and we could go through, for example, your 5th feature, your 5th point, which was, man, use the features that Instagram is introducing. And to your point of, they introduce them and they want people to use them, and will reward that. And so it's one of those things where you're going, duh, why not take advantage of those features? But we could have taken every one of those bullets, I think, and even spent a whole 15, 20 minutes on those. But I'm just looking at my notes here, Jen. But if I were to recap this, and correct me if I got this wrong, okay? And this is just kind of the high level. But the first, and again, all of these take some effort. All of these take some intentionalness and some thoughtfulness, but it will move you forward in your business and help you get cleaner and stop wasting time. Instead of just being busy, you'll be productive. And that's what the essence of this is. But, one, define your market. Who are you? Your posts need to tell a story. And so you've got to define what your interests really are as a coach. If you're a blogger, if you're a mom of boys, if you're Christian, like you said, if you're a beach person, kind of thing. Those are the first piece. Get your primary interest, because those are also the things that you have the greatest passion about in life. So you're going to have energy, you're going to have enthusiasm, you're going to have excitement about talking about the things you like. That'll help you be authentic. The second piece I thought was really interesting is just, again, the hashtags, and a way to find those hashtags that align with what those are, and to have those in your back pocket, so to speak, so that you are generating a following. And there's some ways to find those. The third is the follow unfollow that to me was really interesting, because I think there's a science there to way to keep your business clean. And I think most people would probably go, wait, what? I just want to get as many people following me as I can possibly get. But you want good followers. You want quality. And then the next one was what we just talked about, was the Instagram features. You get up to date, get current, on those. And then the fifth one, or maybe part of that, was, the Instagram stories and the Instagram highlights. I'm going to ask you a quick question on that, because as you said that, and I'm trying to figure out Instagram a little bit, so I'm starting to do these posting things, and I go, Instagram stories, that seems work intensive. When you say 10 stories a day, that seems kind of intense. So push back on that and tell me how that becomes not intense.
Oh, it's so easy, because you've got like 16 seconds. I think that's how long a story can be. So some of the time I will record my kids like jumping off the couch and wrestling with each other. I'm like, mom life, or you just hold your phone up. There's like a hands-free option too, where you can record yourself talking. And this is how I make my shake. Look how easy this is. Almond milk, ice, scoop of Shakeology, banana, and you show them. But it's so much easier, I think, if we overthink it, live videos or doing video trainings on Facebook, you feel like you have to have your hair done and a nice outfit. Instagram stories, you could be a hot mess, and that's totally fine. So I think it's one of the easier things we can do,
Okay, good. I'm glad you clarified, because I go, oh man, that sounds like that's tough. Okay, so you do on the Champions page, I know, have a longer version of this as well. So I will show or point people in that direction. This has been absolutely fantastic, Jen. Let's just wrap up though with, how many years have you been a coach now?
And I think next week it's 5.
5 years. Well, congratulations and thank you. And I think that's also important for people to hear, that success does take time. As you learn the trade, and as you learn the skills, and as you practice, it just doesn't come overnight, but it can come. But so over the years, what has that meant to you? How has life changed? It's that kind of that lob question.
I think we can look at it a couple of different ways, but I think the biggest thing for me is like an inner change. I came into this, I was not confident at all. I was just not, and I was very lost. And I have found such a sense of purpose, and just a sense of empowerment. And I think even if I had never made $1 in this business, to me, it would have all been worth it, because of what I've gained as far as like emotional and physically. I've lost 45 pounds. I've maintained that weight loss for 5 years. Like most people can't say that, it comes and goes. So that's been huge. But the biggest and most exciting thing that we've been able to do, and income disclaimer, but we're building our dream house right now. We're moving to Tampa in the summer, and our house is almost done. It'll be done in April, and we never could have done that without Beachbody. So there's just so much that goes into this. And for new coaches that are watching and they're like, I haven't seen success and it's been 3 months. It takes time. And I'm so glad you said that, because it really does. If I had given up after my first year, I maybe made $300 and I was a diamond coach. So it really just depends on how much effort and time you want to put into building your business, but the sky's the limit when you're ready to dial in and really be intentional, like you said.
Well, Jen, thank you so much. And I appreciate the close on that, because it really is, if you want to dial in, and let me just close up here because we're at that time. But first, thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, in a lot of companies, let me just point this out. In a lot of companies, you'll have the quote unquote, the equivalent of coaches who would get this information and they would hoard this information because this is their secret sauce. This is their foot up. This is the step up on the competition. And I so appreciate coaches like you, Jen, that are just willing to say, here it is. Here's what I've learned. Take it and go build a business, because this can help change your life. And that's part of the culture that we have at Beachbody, and so appreciate how abundant you are with what you've just shared.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Well, Coach, is absolutely fantastic information. I mean, this is an absolute go back, learn from, dial in, get these 5 points and go play, but get disciplined in this medium, in Instagram. It is a business tool that you have to get good on. You have to become competent in that space. And there's the change. When you're through changing, you're through. But so this is content that you can use today. This is content that you can use on your Team Cup team. If I were a Team Cup captain or just a member of a Team Cup, or anybody for that matter, I would be taking this information that you just got and said, okay, how can we use this? Because my guess is you do that one, there's going to be this enthusiasm, this excitement, this go, man, here is a new skill set that I can apply. And you can apply it to getting results this month, whether it's in Carl's group, whether it's in the Team Cup group, whether it's just in building your business. The other good news, and I didn't mention this at the beginning, is yes, we had, with the incredible demand on 80-day obsession and performance line, we are fully stocked now. We're back to our regular shipping cycles, and you can have high confidence that your product's going to get there on time. So there is no reason with what you're learning, with all of the product, with these, not just 80-day obsession, but with every fitness program that can help somebody, achieve their fitness goals. It is there, but it's up to you to talk. So coaches, get out there today, make it a great week. Don't make it a great week because we're just yelling at you and saying, make it a great week. Make it a great week because that aligns with who you are. It aligns with what you want to achieve. It aligns with what your goals are, because when you do that, that's when the results really come and you have passion about it. So coaches, thank you for being a coach. Thanks for being on this call. Let's make this week, as Darren would say, a fantastic week, but a week with results. Thank you.